Hi Capricorn, welcome to your 2026 read. Okay, so we're going to take a look and see what the year ahead holds. Like the video, comment if you want to book your 2026. It's last chance on the half price sale. Everything is below. So please like and comment, it does help. Okay, so we're going to look at the general theme of the year. So what is the general theme of the year for Capricorn? Okay, the Hangman reversed. So there is a sense here of not wanting to hang about, and there is a sense of not wanting to make sacrifices. So the Hangman is someone who's kind of constantly making sacrifices or the hanging about. With this being reversed, you want action this year. So, and also for me, the Hangman is like not hanging yourself out to dry, not making too many sacrifices for people. What is the external, but it's an action year. It's no more suspension, it's getting up and getting things done. What is the external factors for Capricorn? So it could also be this, right? So with this combination, the Five of Pentacles is no longer support on people as well. So the Five of Pentacles is the external factor. Some of you could be facing homelessness. The Five of Pentacles can be destitution. It can be people who don't support us, they won't help us, they won't support us. If you're in a precarious situation, the message with the Hangman is don't wait. In other words, have your own back, because the external factor is people won't support you. Maybe because they can't, right? So the Five of Pentacles is people who are in poverty or people who don't have the resources. It's also about the institutions. This is an institution. They're stripped because so many people are in a vulnerable position. So the message, be careful for the Capricorns whose finances or jobs, you have to be careful this year, because externally you're hitting a lot of blocks. It's like people just won't support you, people, even institutions, governments, whatever. Okay, so what can't Capricorn change in 2026, please? Two of Wands. So I feel like there could also be a message here about someone else making a decision and you can't influence that person. Someone could want to leave or relocate. This could be a family member. But for me, the Two of Wands is there's a certain person who you cannot influence this year. Or certain people that you cannot influence this year. Okay, so what guidance should Capricorn take this year? So what is the guidance? So don't expect things to be fair. This is also to do with work as well. And the external factor is the Five of Pentacles. So some of you, this can be layoffs, it can be cuts. Five of Pentacles is an institution or a company that lacks the means to support its people. I feel like the best advice this year is expect injustices. Don't expect things to be fair. The best advice is, if right now you're in a position of vulnerability, you need to bring balance. And how you're going to do that is not waiting around. In other words, some of you have got a sense you could lose a job, or this could be your property or something like that. Okay, what energy is Capricorn sending out this year, please? The Two of Cups reversed. Okay, so I'm also getting here as well, for me, with this being reversed, maybe you are dealing with people who maybe you want to get someone out of your home, and you've got this Two of Wands. So for example, maybe someone's been leeching off you. This could be a son, it could be a daughter, it could be some of you are dealing with a person who you have a rental property and this person is refusing to leave. This can be people who basically squat. Okay, so the other side of the coin is there's something with Capricorn where you either lack support or you refuse to support certain people. Maybe you feel like the situation they're in is their own fault. Maybe you feel like it's self-inflicted. But I feel like someone is dealing with loss of a job, destitution. The fact that this is your external environment is weird. Unless you're putting yourself in a situation where you want to provide for the needy. So if you're in a position where you have money and security, this could be a person who their external reality is this because they're a person who supports people in need. So it could be that. You could fight for people who a lot of injustice is being done. You could set up a food bank. You could be doing some kind of self-help for people who are in need. Okay? I don't think so though. Because it does look like Capricorn is turning the back on certain people, on certain family members maybe. Because I feel like you feel like this person's a leech. Okay, so what are we seeing when it comes to health for Capricorn, please? The Chariot. So this is good. This is kind of balanced. There could be some issues, but ultimately the Chariot is, especially if you're into fitness, because the Chariot is militant. So this is someone who's got discipline, they're staying consistent, they still like a little bit of bad stuff, but they mostly stay consistent. And it can be lifting weights, it can be some kind of hobby. I feel like travel, walking, because you do also have to be aware that this is in the health position. And what this means is if you're in the car all the time, that can be really bad on your health. So I feel like there's a message here to maybe choose walking, be more active, be less sedentary. Don't always take a car, don't always take the easy option. I just heard a message as well, because that tip reversed. Some of you might sell your car, you know, because again, it's all about changing your health. There's two messages. Some of you are just getting rid of a certain person. Some of you are being more active this year. Some of you are selling your car. You are making changes. I do get some harsh Capricorns here who are kind of looking down on people. Kind of your external reality is this, but part of you feels like, why is it my job to support this person, or why is it my job to support these people? There is a little bit of an attitude of like, well, they probably did it to themselves. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to go with that. What are we seeing for love, please? What are we seeing for love? Some of yous, I do think it's more of a case of some of yous have been dealing with someone who's just been leeching. Maybe they've been living in your house, maybe they've been constantly leaning on you, and I feel like you're just not dealing with this anymore. Okay, love is the Six of Swords reversed. I'd also say with this combination as well, this can be a relationship that's just not working out. And it is hard to end relationships, you know, because at the end of the day, when you've shared life with somebody, it's difficult to end that. But what I'm getting for some of you is basically this connection is blocked. It's not moving forward. I feel like maybe someone isn't showing respect, like someone is just not investing. They could be dragging you down, and sometimes you just have to do the hard stuff, okay? So love-wise, you've got the Six of Swords reversed and the Queen of Cups. For the Capricorn man, I feel like you could be dealing with someone who, this person seems to have depression, this person seems to be stuck in some way. But I feel like you don't want to be there anymore, the Tower. I feel like also for the Capricorn man, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very unstable in their emotions. So this can be someone who is just constantly chaotic, right? This person struggles to regulate themselves emotionally. And that can be a lot for a person to deal with. So some of yous, I do feel like this is more about you've tried to help certain people, maybe with money, maybe with a job, maybe with a place to stay. Some of you have tried to work with this person in a relationship, but it's like the person gets worse. Like the more you help them, the worse they get. So I would actually say that yes, you know, you can only help people as much as they help themselves, and at some point the help or the aid or whatever has got to stop. And so some of you, you're not coming from a selfish place, you're coming from a wise place. It's like, I've done as much as I can do. And some of you, you're in a relationship, and for the Capricorn woman, you've got to be careful with this, because this could be you. So you could be in some kind of relationship, and it's not even a relationship, it's not supportive. I feel like you're constantly making sacrifices for this person. This person could be in and out. I feel like it drags you down. Like, I feel like this person is like really bad for your health. Like, they just drag you down, you know? So actually what's really happening here is breaking point. You're getting to a point where it's like, no. So something you've been putting off. Maybe it also comes down to you felt bad about saying no to this person, or you felt bad about ending the relationship or ending the marriage. But I feel like it's enough's enough now. This could also be someone who refuses to break up, or it could be someone who refuses to divorce. Okay, so what about career for Capricorn, please? 7 of Pentacles. So I'm going to say for the Capricorns who are not established, like you're basically working in a 9 to 5 a job, be very careful. If you're working in a 9 to 5 a job and you're basically living paycheck to paycheck, you need to pay attention to the red flags, because you are just one paycheck away from destitution, not being able to pay your rent. And I think sometimes people don't realise how brutal it is. Like, people are not what they was. You know, since 2020, let's just say that a lot has happened. And I feel like a lot of people have been in need. And a lot of people have been vulnerable. And so there's a lot less resources now. The pace is tightening, so to speak. So, like, I'm talking to the Capricorns who are not established. In other words, you don't have people to rely on. You know, if you can't pay your rent, you're going to lose your house. If you lose your job, you're losing your bread and butter. I feel like there's red flags for you, and you need to pay attention. I'm not trying to scare you, but my work is that, right? My work is I guide people, I help people, I wake them up, you know. I feel like there is a serious caution message here. There's also something to do with the Capricorns who do look down on people and kind of gloat and say, you know, they probably brought it on themselves, and the judgmental. You've got to be careful, because the times we're in, the tower can come from anyone. You know, there is something with someone. I don't think it's all Capricorns. Most of yours, I think it's more, maybe this is you, you know. So you got to, on the job front, the 7 of Pentacles is save your cash this year. Try not to be, you know, eyeing it down, tighten it down. But some of years with the job you're in, you might be struggling to save your cash, because it's hard to save a cash. It's hard to save cash in a 9 to 5. I feel like some of you are struggling to make ends meet. Right? Your career, I feel like it's a lot of hard work. Clarify the career for me, please. King of Wands. I feel like this is someone who is going to be a problem for Capricorn in 2026, but this could also be someone who works you to the bone. So maybe they've got you doing all kinds of overtime, they don't pay you. Maybe they have you doing, maybe they just put more pressure on you, so you're doing like 2 or 3 people's jobs. Or it could just be someone who gives you a hard time, because it's Niccolo Machiavelli, and with him it's all about how you act, how you destroy people, power, what to say, what to do. Some of you could be living like that. So you could be that type of person where it's like that kind of harsh, you know, critic of other people, judging other people's story, judging other people, you know, it could be that. And maybe there's a message in this reading if you're doing that to one, be careful with that. And two, because power is fleeting. Who has power today might not have it tomorrow. The person you're looking down at today might be up tomorrow. You know? And God has a way of also basically teaching us. He does. You know? And when we make deals with the devil, which is what this energy is. Right? So I would say for the Capricorns who are doing that, again, do whatever you want. Just guiding you, but do whatever you want. If that's the person you want to be, if that's how you want to think, do you. But I'm saying it's just not wise. It's easy to look at people and judge them, but you haven't been in their shoes, you haven't been in their story. Be careful with that, you know. Because some of you, I feel like if you are successful and you are powerful, by taking a more compassionate approach, I think good things will come from it. And I think you'll also feel like a better person, or life will just be better in general, you know, because you just see things from a different perspective. For the Capricorns though, and I do have to say this, who basically are sitting there going, no, I give the support, I give the help, I showed up, this is leeches, then that's different. You're not here to save people, right? So balance, right? But some of you, I feel like this could be you. So I feel like it's probably that you're dealing with somebody who gives you a hard time in your career. I feel like this person is, I get this kind of nasty energy, manipulative energy. This is a person who knows you need the job. So they're like, this person needs the job. They're going to do as I say because they need the job. So I feel like this person is nasty. Like they're always playing games. They're always fighting for power. I do feel like this person will get the downfall. And if you're acting like this, you'll get your downfall. It just might take a bit of time. Okay? But that's why I feel like there's a strong message in 2026 to be careful how you act and to be careful of thinking you're untouchable, because I feel like we're in times where no one is untouchable. Okay, so what are the blessings for Capricorn for 2026? The devil. Some of yous, again, I'm going to stick to that a lot of the Capricorns listening to this, you've been the good person. Like, you have been that person who's carried people, supported people, you've give people second chances, you've give people the benefit of the doubt. Some of years, this energy that you're kind of in now is more about self-preservation. In other words, like, you now know that this person is taking the piss. Like, you're kind of like, this person's using me, like, they don't really care about me. So the blessings this year is you're breaking with the devil in some way. Now, there could be someone in your life who you know, they're manipulative, they manipulate you, etc. Some of you are breaking with a toxic marriage, toxic relationship, toxic job. You're taking your power back. Because Capricorn rules the devil in astrology, and that is Saturn. So this is your card. So this card represents Capricorn, and so it's also Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of restriction. So you're breaking with some kind of bondage, some kind of restriction, some kind of toxic relationship or manipulation. The other side of the coin is this could be your own dark side, like what we've talked about. You know, that it is easy to basically look at ourselves and go, I'm not the best person. I've been quite materialistic. You know, because the external environment for you is suffering. It's suffering. You know? And so it's kind of like when there's two people, right? There's people who see suffering and say, not my problem. It's not got to do with me. Don't know the person. And then there's people who see suffering and they're like, is there something I can do? Right? So I do think actually this year for some of you, especially if you're power players and you're in the position to do so, I wouldn't say you, some of you, I don't think you've been judgmental. I think you've been wrapped up. It's not really something you've paid attention to. But I feel like this year you might see certain things like kids not being able to read, people on the street, and I just feel like you want to get involved. Instead of being like, oh, you know, someone else is going to fix it, you're like, what can I do to fix it? And Capricorns are good at that because you're good at managing. You're also sharp people, right? What I mean by this is You can see who's a con artist and you can see who is legit. You can see who's milking the system and who's legit. And you're good at management and all this type of stuff. So I actually see some of you Capricorns this year taking on some kind of cause where the people are suffering and you're providing for them in some way. It could be shelter, it could be food, it could be whatever, right? And I think it's because for some Capricorns, like, you're seeing the suffering and it's like, instead of saying maybe someone else will fix it, you're like, can I fix it? Is there something I can do? I think it's really nice. Could be animals, could be whatever. Capricorns love animals. I just want to be careful because I'm not demonizing Capricorns, and even the ones who I'm saying to you is like, be careful with that dark side and be careful with judgment, because yes, some people are out there, they've never done nothing for themselves, they've leached off the system their whole life, they kind of created what they're in. But a lot of people, and we've all seen what's happened, it was basically done to them, you know. So you have to be careful with that. The other side of the coin is, if you do have those people in your life who are constantly leeching off you, of course you've got to protect yourself. You've got your own things, you've got to deal with. So as long as Capricorn is good with Capricorn this year, that's what counts, right? And some of you are good with being that dark person, which is perfectly fine. But I'm saying be careful, because life can change and power can be fleeting. And at one, you know, maybe that will happen to you in the future, and then maybe you'll encounter that, right? I feel like some of you are in some kind of job, like I said, where this person is like plain nasty, and you're breaking with this person, you're breaking with this company. I feel like this company is extremely dark, it's extremely greedy, and I think you want to break with this company because you don't like what this company stands for and you don't want to be associated with it. For the vast collective of Capricorns watching this, you're in a powerful place in 2026. You are in a place where you want to be away from the dark, you know, and you're unchaining yourself. It could be from your own materialism, your own greed. It could be from your own dark side that hasn't really cared, but now you start to really become more empathic, more understanding, and you actually do something with that. I'm going to finish for this reading for the Capricorns who are in a vulnerable place. I feel like I've mentioned that dark person for a reason. We're living in a time where people don't care. Systems don't care. They will just leave you to fucking die out there. I promise you. People will just sack you, even if you did not. Right? So basically, we're in a time of self-preservation. You need to basically, if you're getting those signals this year, prepare. Save money, put your head down, take on another job. I feel like some of you can feel it coming. You can feel the job loss coming. You can feel the homelessness or this slip, it's coming. Because remember what Jordan Peterson said, nothing happens overnight. There is always signs. You know, there's always like things gain momentum to absolute destruction, or basically to go in somewhere good. They don't happen overnight, right? So some of you are kind of picking that up, right? Some of you are slipping, and I feel like you need to be careful because, like I said, and it could also be the person we've talked about in this reading is more the attitude that people will have towards you. They won't ask, how did you get in this situation? What happened? They'll just judge you for it. Wherever you are, you must have done it to yourself. You know? So I heard dirty beggar or something like that. You know? But it can take a long time to recover. So I feel like a message for Capricorn, for the ones who are in a vulnerable position, the Hangman reversed is do not wait, do not give it too much time, get up, fix it, and have that kind of self-preservation. In other words, only I can save me. You know, and if you get anyone else who supports you, that's just addition, but don't expect them to, because you might be quite disappointed. But I feel like in general, it's a year of basically not allowing yourself to be manipulated, not allowing yourself to you know, not making excessive sacrifices. And I feel like some of you have been stuck in a rut for years, and the message here is basically you're getting out of that rut. You know, maybe some of you have been stuck in poverty for years, and this year you start working on bag. You know, Some of you could start a company. Some of you, like, I feel like Capricorns this year, it's about momentum, right? Okay, community. This is what I'm getting though. I feel like some of you Capricorns, you're going to build a community of sorts, and I think it's going to help so many people. You can see here. I feel like someone goes from being in the devil to following God, because God come up really strongly. See this person? She's a nun and she's religious. And then we've also got this Four of Wands, and it looks so... this can be someone who for a long time has been like kind of following hedonistic. They've been wrapped up in power, money, materialism, all of this. But I feel like this is a person who is going back to spirit. They're going back to God. And some of you are going to be led this year to start something, and it's in the name of God. So in other words, it is actually God who's saying to you, you need to start this company, you need to help these people, you know. And then there will also be God who says to you, don't help this person no more. This person is the devil. In other words, they're manipulating you, they're greedy. You know, also if we help people too much, then they learn to be dependent and they don't help themselves. But I'm seeing big things for Capricorns this year, and there's many different messages. So, you know, every Capricorn who's listening to this, especially this far, knows who they are. They know how they think, they know what they stand for. And this is not about judgment, it's just collective messages being sent out there. Not because I'm scared to say it straight, I'm saying it straight. It's because you don't want to come across as attacking, right? And like I said, some of you might be encountering this type of person. This is the type of person who'll just get rid of you out the house. They'll just kick you out of the house, legal or not. This is the type of person who'll just kick you out of your job. They don't care. You got kids, don't care. I feel like you need to be careful with that in your own energy this year. And you need to be careful with thinking that other people care, because you'd be surprised. But I'm also getting Capricorns have had this idea for a long, long time. And 2026 is where you can make it happen. The Four of Wands is you build this community, and I feel like it benefits. See this Two of Cups? It benefits a lot of people, you know. So some Capricorns are saying to themselves, there's problems in the world and I want to be part of the solution, not moaning about the problem, because we're in a time where everyone's got a big mouth, everyone's complaining about something, but if you ask them what they're doing about it, you know. So I feel like Capricorn this year, for the successful ones, the powerful ones, the ones whose life is in order, they've got a happy family, they've got a good business, they're good, you know. You go outside, you see people are sitting in the cold, they can't eat, it's like, what? But I feel like with Capricorns, you're the best at this because you're not dramatic, you're level-headed, you're able to look at things, you're able to plan things, you're able to build businesses, you're able to provide resources. So some of you are like on that next level now where you've done it for yourself. And now God is guiding you to, because what he says is once we provide you with comfort and a level of abundance, then you focus on who else needs it. You support them, right? And I feel like Capricorns, you're going to get to the end of this year and feel quite proud by what you achieve, right? So this is like God mission, divine mission. It's like the next level for some of you. Some of you are in a very, very vulnerable position right now, and you need to get on it before it's too late. And some of you, it's just really getting to that place where it's like, if people are manipulating you, if they're leaning on you, you're just done. It's a no from me. So there's a lot of complexity, but you get the general gist. If you want to book a personal, you can check out my readings below. Like the video, comment, let me know what you thought. If you thought that whatever, put it all out down there. I'll speak to you soon.